Father in heaven, be with us throughout this midday power surge is our prayer in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Greetings, salutations to Safe to Serve International and first-time viewers. Welcome to this midday power surge. This is your spiritual oasis on this pilgrim journey. I'm your host, Andrew Henriquez. On this Friday, November 11th. Brothers and sisters, I want to say to you all, happy preparation day. And today we're going to be covering a lineup that I believe is going to be meat in due season for all of us. Right now, friends, as you can see in the lineup, the spiritual menu, we're going to be covering the fact that interfaith religions, churches are now calling for Ecocide law at COP27. They're calling for ecological conversion. That is linked to Sunday worship by law at COP27. Secretary, Special Envoy to the UN, John Kerry, spilled the beans at COP27. We're going to be addressing that. And friends, at the back end of this presentation, I will be addressing individuals who say, stop talking about Sunday law is coming. That leads to fanaticism. Nobody can always be prepared. That's what they say. And what we're going to see, they represent the evil servant brought to view in the scriptures. Again, they're also stating, constantly talking about a coming Sunday law. Every time you come before the people, it leads people to become sad, depressed. That is what they say. They even say, when I talk about keeping you on your spiritual toes, they say it is impossible for individuals to remain on their spiritual toes every moment, every single day. I'm going to be addressing those evil servants. Brothers and sisters, let's get right into it. Let's start off by saying this. All right, friends, it is an important question. Why should we focus on COP27, which began this past Sunday? Why focus on this? The Bible tells us in Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse number 9, the Bible says that history will be repeated. And we're told in history, it was the church, listen friends, the Roman Catholic Church influenced state leaders of the Roman Empire to enforce Sunday worship by law, including Emperor Constantine. All right, friends, and we're told what happened in the past will be repeated. Stay tuned, friends. Sunday law progressed as church and state leaders met in council after council, council after council. And brothers and sisters, COP25, COP26 rather, COP27, the present conference of the parties, is a modern day fulfillment of what transpired in the past. Council after council, vast councils were held from time to time. Sunday was exalted. God's seventh-day Sabbath was correspondingly demoted. And those who renounced Sunday worship, espoused, lived, and taught God's seventh-day Sabbath, commonly called Saturday, they were the ones that were labeled accursed, prosecuted, imprisoned, persecuted. Many were put to death. There it is, my friends. It's the modern day fulfillment. It says at COP27, papists are telling us, watch carefully, it's time to influence civil leaders to adopt papal policies to combat climate change. The signs are here, brothers and sisters. And papists at COP27 are actually stating, never let a good crisis go to waste. There it is, brothers and sisters. The signs are here. So why must we talk about COP27? Why? The signs are here. And brothers and sisters, notice what this says. It is official now. Popery is a part of the Conference of the Parties. COP27. It's right there in red words. And remember, the apostate queen of Bible prophecy has officially taken her seat at the head of the table of civil leaders. That's fulfilling chapter 18 of Revelation, verse 2 and verse 3. Verse 5 to verse number 8, Bible prophecies are being fulfilled. These are the reasons we must focus on COP27. There it is, my friends. She has taken her seat at the head of the table. The papists say accession to Climate Convention and Paris Agreement. The Queen has taken her seat. There it is, brothers and sisters. It is now official. At COP27, the papists are telling us it's time not only for collective conversion, no, but individual conversion. There it is, brothers and sisters. You're asking me, why should we focus on COP27? It's right there, brothers and sisters. Individual conversion. And brothers and sisters, once the apostate queen took her seat at the head of the table of civil leaders, she continued to promote Sunday rest by law to combat climate change, Sunday worship by law to combat climate change. That is what is meant by collective individual conversion, Sunday rest by law, Sunday worship by law. I'm not speculating. I'm giving you words from the horse's mouth. It's right there, brothers and sisters. Once she took her seat, there it is, my friends. Sunday worship, their so-called Sabbath. Sunday to combat climate change in the climate emergency. Quoting from the book of Genesis, Sunday worship by law, brothers and sisters. I've played this video several times before.
So the church claims that humans are responsible for looking after nature. This comes from Genesis. When at creation, God charged Adam to till and to keep. To till was to make the earth productive. To keep was to ensure that the earth maintains its productive qualities and traits to support life all the time. Human beings must therefore respect the laws of nature and its delicate equilibrium existing between creatures and the world itself. This imperative for care also extends to the teaching about resting on the Sabbath day, which is for human beings also to preserve creation. Indeed, from the book of Deuteronomy, related with the book of Genesis, Sabbath has a sense of liberation, has the sense of giving respite and rest to any system that is oppressed and that lives in bondage.
All right. So there you have it, my friends. COP after COP, council after council. Brothers and sisters, notice what came fresh off the press. The papists at COP27, right now as I speak, are promoting, again, not just collective conversion and individual conversion, but they specifically stated ecological conversion. Sunday rest by law. There it is, brothers and sisters. Once she took her seat, ecological conversion. That's it. In the context of the common good. Red words, blue words, friends. That's it. Ecological conversion in light of the common good for the Paris Climate Agreement. Notice, friend, and what is that common good? Give up your rights. Give up your liberty of conscience for the community. What is the common good? Sunday worship by law. Ecological conversion is what they're promoting, brothers and sisters. That's it. And notice, watch carefully. On November 7th, 2022, this came out. Headline: religious leaders gather in Sinai to receive climate justice 10 commandments. On this coming Sunday, November 13th, notice, friends, listen to this carefully. The church leaders will meet at Mount Sinai to receive climate justice 10 commandments. But notice, similar worship gatherings will be held around the world. Look at the blue words to confirm. In India, the Himalayas, New York City, Ecuador, Germany, Vienna, even down there in Australia. It's a global movement, brothers and sisters. And of course, the rise of sun worship is on the horizon. So let's be clear. For our sin of emissions 10+1, climate commandments, you can see what the author was promoting. Joseph Abramowitz. But remember, everything I just covered confirmed that the papacy, Pope Francis, is also promoting Sunday worship by law to combat climate change. So what we have been seeing doesn't hinge on the words of Joseph Abramowitz. Oh no, it's what we just covered from the horse's mouth. Are these points clear, brothers and sisters? So let's stay tuned. You're asking me, why speak about COP27? You're seeing the reasons. And many are saying, stop talking about a coming Sunday law. It leads to fanaticism. Nobody can remain on their spiritual toes every single day. In other words, they want to be found relaxed, lackadaisical, at ease. No such thing, brothers and sisters. Now watch this. At COP27, right now as I speak, as you're watching, as you're listening, they launched a book calling for Ecocide law. My friends, here's where we're going. We just saw that they are promoting Sunday worship by law to combat climate change. On the heels of that, now they are promoting Ecocide law. Well, friends, the Ecocide law is giving the nations teeth. For what purpose? Now they can prosecute, they can now persecute, they can fine, they can imprison, and later on put to death violators of their climate change solution policies. You're wondering, why should we speak about these things? Watch this. There it is, my friends. November 7th, the new book. It says, Faith Voices for Ecocide Law. Blue words, it was written at a time of ecological crisis. Red words, last sentence, the book launches November 9th at the UN Climate Change Conference, COP27. That's it, brothers and sisters. And notice, my friends, who are they going to target? It says individuals will be targeted. Not only corporations, but individuals will be prosecuted. And not only prosecuted, but also imprisoned. There it is, brothers and sisters. Imprisonment. And my friends, we are told in inspiration, we are told in the Bible, we are told in the spirit of prophecy, just as Jesus was imprisoned for the faith, just as the apostles were imprisoned for the faith in the book of Acts, or Acts 4, Acts 5. Yes, just as the Waldenses and many others in the early Christian era were also imprisoned for the faith. It's coming again. especially in the time of the mark of the beast. Oh, friends, the signs are here. Great Controversy, page 607. All right, Sunday violators, yes, are going to be fined and what? Imprisoned. Volume 5, page 81. In the time of the mark of the beast, those who reject Sunday worship by law and hold fast to God's seventh-day Sabbath, they're the ones we're told are going to be imprisoned, and many will be put to death. Let me qualify that. A few will be put to death. The signs are here, friends. And notice, watch carefully. The Roman Catholic leaders promote the death penalty in light of the common good. Watch this. And Sunday to combat climate change in light of what? The common good. The dots are connected, brothers and sisters. And beloved, now notice who are the individuals who are promoting the Ecocide law launched at COP27. Pause it right there. I've been speaking about this Ecocide law for at least a year now. It was proposed and proposed and proposed. The sea and the waves have been roaring, and now at COP27, it's on the books. Ecocide law. Now watch this. The Pope is promoting Ecocide law. You'll see it, friends. The World Council of Churches promoting Ecocide law. Hold it right there. Beloved, do you see what I just said a while ago? Churches are promoting the Ecocide law based on end-time prophecy. It actually means churches are promoting death for violators of their Sunday law policies to combat climate change. Let that sink in deep into your ears, as says Luke chapter 9. It's coming, my friends. Did they put a death penalty on Elijah? Yep. In the context of a climate crisis, drought and famine, 1 Kings 17, 1 Kings 18, 1 Kings 19, yes. And the Bible says, as it was in the days of Elijah, so it will be in the last days. That's Old Testament. Churches promoting death. It says Faith Voices. That's the actual title. I'll show it to you shortly. Faith Voices promote Ecocide law. Now watch. Let's come New Testament. Herodias, Salome, her daughter, promoted, yes, and called for the beheading of John the Baptist. Herodias, a woman. Salome, her daughter. Women represent churches in the Bible. Herodias, Salome, apostates represent the apostate churches in the last days. Herodias, the papacy. Salome, apostate Protestants. Protestant America and the false religions. Watch this, friends. Here it is. Headline: what does Mr. Antichrist promote? Ecocide as international crime. The Pope of Rome. The world. Look at the date, brothers and sisters. I stopped right in my tracks mid-sentence. September 12th, 2022. The World Council of Churches support what? Ecocide law. And you're asking me, why must we focus on COP27? The prophecies are being fulfilled. That's why I have been saying, remain on your spiritual toes. But the evil servants, the evil professed Christians are saying, speaking constantly of a coming Sunday law is actually fanaticism. You realize I keep saying the same thing, friends? It's my chorus. It's my refrain. Let's continue here. Watch this now. Not only the papists and Pope Francis and the World Council of Churches, but also international lawyers are enacting, supporting, promoting Ecocide law. Why is that important, you ask? It's fulfilling Daniel chapter 3, brothers and sisters. Look at this right there. There it is for headline. International lawyers are calling for Ecocide law. to criminalize environmental destruction, not only by corporation, but by individuals. Civil leaders are also promoting ecocide law. Oh yes, friends, Daniel chapter 3. What are we told in verse number 3? We see governors, princes in verse number 3. Look at this. We see judges. Judges fall under the heading of lawyers. We see also treasurers and counselors. Counselors, these are attorneys. And they were summoned by Nebuchadnezzar. Every single person, when they hear the sound of music, must fall down and worship falsely that image, or be thrown in the fiery furnace. That's verse number 6. You're asking me again, why must we focus on COP27? Oh, my friends, it's time to continue to watch. But many are saying the constant watching of a coming Sunday law leads to sadness. It leads to mental trauma. It leads to depression. Evil servants. Now notice, the Pope of Rome stated that ecocide law should be placed as the 5th crime. There it is, friends. To make ecocide the 5th crime before the International Criminal Court. By now, stop asking why focus on a coming Sunday law. And friends, the book that was launched at COP27 regarding ecocide law, it actually mentioned Pope Francis and actually stating that they support Pope Francis and that Pope Francis promote and supports their ideology for the ecocide law to criminalize those they say are destroying nature. Watch carefully. So when Sunday is ultimately enacted as the principal policy to combat climate change and God's commandment-keeping people, seventh-day Sabbath-keeping people refuse to honor Sunday, the calamities continue. What will they call? Do you see it now? God's seventh-day Sabbath commandment-keeping people. Nature, climate, criminals. Climate, criminals. Nature, criminals. You are destroying nature because you aren't honoring Sunday. Do you see it? All right, friends. There it is. It says the book launch. It's called Faith Voices for Ecocide Law. The churches, brothers and sisters, promoting death. Watch carefully. That's where it's going based on prophecy. Next, it says, red words. They are promoting the words that Pope Francis supports ecocide law. That's it, friends. And they stated, with the Pope's influence behind this project, the heads of state will follow in suit. What is that, my friends? That is church influencing the state. Again, what is that? That is church influencing the state. Are those points clear, my friends? And notice now, one more. There it is, my friends. Faith traditions carry the hope that we can agree to this fundamental piece of legislation in time. Why? Let's all unite in action and support for ecocide law. The churches are uniting. We're here, friends, to promote ecocide law. Do you want one more? Here it is, my friends. The World Council of Churches. Red words. It says, if the WCC can reach out to other faith traditions to speak out for an ecocide law, watch carefully now, governments around the world must listen. What is that? That's church influencing the state. By now, you must have asked the question, why should we focus on COP27? 2 video clips. Listen.
So we gather here today to present Faith for Ecocide Law, which is an inter-religious initiative to gather religious voices and faith leaders and communities in support of a new international crime of ecocide.
Pope Francis has been very clear on this issue. Already in 2019 he mentioned ecocide as a very urgent matter to promote. And through his encyclical Laudato Si, he has also promoted an ecological spirituality in order to help Christians to see the need and help them to engage themselves in this issue all over the world.
People joining us here from over 50 countries and many different religions to express support for ecocide as a crime and learn more about how that is a very practical and powerful step towards a human society in harmony with nature.
And now listen to a nature worshipper who worships Mother Earth.
Faith for Ecocide is something that is very important to my heart because I feel that in combination of what I believe as a Maori person.
One more.
Faith for Ecocide is something that is very important to my heart because I feel that in combination of what I believe as a Maori person, from my tikanga Maori culture, all religions, we are family man, Mother Earth's children, Mother Earth's love. So I believe in my heart that this is our responsibility for the coming children.
Friends, is this not a fulfillment of Matthew 24? Maybe you have forgotten. In Matthew 24, the signs that should precede the second coming of Christ, verse number 7 mentions the wars, then famine, pestilences, earthquakes in diverse places, calamities globally. Verse number 8, these are the beginning of sorrows. Now we're at the end of sorrows. Verse number 9, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. My name's sake, Abba. In the middle of Sabbath, Abba. Sabbath, Sabbatha, Abba. Isaiah chapter 56, verse 6 and verse 7. The Bible tells us God's name is connected to his seventh day Sabbath. Yes. And chapter 4 of Galatians, verse number 6, Abba. His name in the dead center of Sabbath. It's coming, brothers and sisters. Luke 21, same signs. And the Bible says in verse number 12, we are going to be persecuted, brothers and sisters. The stage is set. And now they're telling us that the Sabbath keeping is the principal solution to stop ecocide, the destruction of nature. That's what they say. Here it is, brothers and sisters. Don't take my words for it. It's right there. It's clear. Just as it was, my friends, in the days of Elijah. By the way, there it is, my friends. The calamities will continue. Yes. Then will come Sunday worship by law. As it was in the days of Elijah, so it's going to be in the last days. Wake up, brothers and sisters. Again, I'm talking about remaining watchful. How many times in the Bible did Christ say watch? Those of you who are live with me right now, a quick insert. What scriptures do you recall where Christ said watch, watch, over and over again, watch, every single day, watch? Give me those scriptures. I'll come to them shortly. Watch, because the evil servants are telling us, if you keep watching every day for the close of probation, the Sunday law, you're going to become traumatized. Yes, it leads to paranoia. Stop talking about the coming Sunday law. Well, today I'm going to tell you again, the Sunday law is coming. Watch. Stick a point. Stick a pin. Let's come back here. At COP27, Special Ambassador to the UN from the US, John Kerry, the man spilled the beans. Look at this, brothers and sisters, fresh off the press, November 10th. Headline, John Kerry spills the beans at UN's COP17 meeting. Of course, it's COP27. There it is, my friends. What does spill the beans mean? Reveals secret information unintentionally or indiscreetly. I wonder, what did John Kerry say, brothers and sisters, for them to say he spilled the beans? John Kerry stated at COP27, listen attentively, the policies to combat climate change will be rolled out in America and around the world, similar to how the policies were rolled out to combat the pestilence 19, similar to how the pestilence 19 inoculation was distributed, was rolled out. Ding, ding. That should ring a bell, brothers and sisters. But before I give you my brief, succinct commentary, allow me to roll the clip. Listen attentively. Clip 1 of 2.
About a year ago, almost exactly a year ago at COP26, President Biden launched the First Movers Coalition because we knew that in order to achieve a goal of keeping 1.5 degrees alive, in order to be able to bring private sector to the table, we needed to accelerate almost every aspect of what we are doing.
All right, here comes clip number 2.
So the fact is that the idea behind the launch of the First Movers Coalition is pretty straightforward. We needed to create demand signals in the marketplace where they didn't exist, which takes boldness. It takes courage by these executives who have made the decisions to be part of this. And we modeled it somewhat on the experience of what happened with vaccines. The government said, you know, we'll pay for it, build it. And the same thing with SpaceX. If you build it, we're going to use it and we'll pay for it. And so people who were putting capital at risk knew that they could get a return on that capital, or at least cover their expenses in the case of something like vaccines, where human life was so at risk. Well, human life is at risk now in the context of the challenge of the global climate crisis.
Do you see it, my friends? Something needs to be repeated right here. Notice what he said here. Listen again. Creating a demand where none existed.
These executives who have made the decisions to be part of this. And we modeled it somewhat on the experience of what happened with vaccines. The government said, you know, we'll pay for it. Pretty straightforward. We needed to create demand signals in the marketplace where they didn't exist.
We need to create what? Demand signals. Demand for these policies where none existed. Just as the pestilence 19 crisis and the rollout of the pestilence 19 panacea was rolled out, similarly, they will address the climate crisis. Well, my friends, number 1, talk to me. Let's take a look then at their template. I'm telling you, the pestilence 19 was a dry run, a dress rehearsal for the climate crisis, the Sunday law crisis. Do you recall? Number 1, they created the pestilence. So let's come over here now. That means they will fabricate and create calamities. Number 2, the merchants make money off the pestilence 19 inoculation. Do you see it now? That means the merchants will also make money from the policies to combat climate change. Green economy. Number 3, they force the conscience of individuals to take their pestilence 19 poisons. So what's going to happen over here in the climate crisis? They'll force your conscience not only to accept several policies, but principally to accept Sunday worship by law. All right. Number 4, they stripped away individuals' liberties who refused to go along with their policies. So what's going to happen over here? Yes, our liberties will be thwarted. Yes, stripped away, cancelled. Number 5, the merchants became the arm of the civil government. You remember that? Many states, governments realized they lacked constitutional power to force the conscience during the pestilence 19 crisis. So what happened? The businesses that were connected to the government became the arm, the strong arm of the government. So what will happen in the time of the Sunday law, mark of the beast time period? With the climate crisis, the merchants will become the strong arm of the state. That is connected to two scriptures, chapter 18 of Revelation, verse 2 and verse number 3. Babylon in bed with the merchants. And Revelation 13, verse 15 through 17, you won't be able to buy or sell. That's merchants, my friends, except you receive the mark of the beast. Did he spill the beans, brothers and sisters?
Which takes
Did he spill the
boldness.
beans? Cut that. Did he spill the beans? Now notice, just as they fabricated the pestilence 19 crisis, inspiration tells us they will also fabricate calamities to get their Sunday law crisis. Great Controversy, page 589 confirms. There it is, my friends. Yes. And also, Great Controversy, page 579. The signs are here, my friends. They'll fabricate the calamities. Yes, friends. And then we are told the very ones who say we want to care for people and nature are the same one bringing the pestilences, the calamities. The same ones are guilty. And then comes what? Sunday worship by law, brothers and sisters. It's time for all of us to remain watchful. And now in the same article, the world is telling us what to expect. Not the majority, but a few. Listen to what they said, brothers and sisters. When Mr. Kerry spilled the beans at the UN COP27 meeting, they said, now watch, the World Economic Forum's climate change agenda was modeled after the effort to roll out the panacea during the pestilence 19 pandemic. Red words, that means Americans can look forward to high pressure, coercive government tactics. And not only from the government, but from who? The merchants, the corporate elites. Next, they stated they must now create demand signals in the market in the nations where those signals did not exist. Yes. Red words, that is, they want to artificially create demand where none exists. For what things? Electric cars. For what things? Fake meat grown in labs. For what things? Replacing animal protein with crickets and other insects. For what things? Oh, brothers and sisters. And then Sunday worship by law. By now, all of you should stop asking, why focus on COP27? By now, all of you should say, Lord, help me to remain watchful, prayerful, and not to be saying the constant talking about a Sunday law is coming leads to paranoia, leads to fanaticism, leads to sadness. Away with such thought by God's grace. That same article piece went on to state, the great puppet master is the Pope of Rome. He is the one behind the scenes. There it is, brothers and sisters. He is the one behind the scenes. Beloved, at this juncture, I want to tell you something. I love you. I want to tell you something, friends. Christ loves you. And we need to remain faithful in these last days. We need to remain watchful. In the Bible, in Mark chapter 13. Now, give me those scriptures, those of you. Give me those scriptures now that you wrote down, that you can recall where Jesus said, watch, watch, watch. That was several minutes ago, so I need to scroll up to see those comments, those scriptures. Hopefully somebody, all right. Okay, friends, Matthew 26. Jesus said, watch and pray, lest you enter into what? Temptation. Yes, the Spirit of God is willing, but the flesh is weak. Someone said to me recently, Pastor, a family member said to him, this constant listening to stay on your spiritual toes, stay on your spiritual toes, it's impossible to do that daily. It's impossible to remain watchful. They even said, Pastor, not even an athlete, a sprinter, a track star remains on his toes at every moment. Well, you're mixing apples with, let's say, broccoli. Two different groups. One is a fruit, one is a vegetable. All right, my friends? We are looking at these things in natural ways, but spiritual ways, spiritual lenses through which we're looking. We need to remain watchful and prayerful. Hear what Christ said. Watch carefully. In Matthew 25, give me those scriptures where Christ mentioned watchful. Being watchful. Matthew 25, Jesus said regarding the 10 virgins, right? 5 were wise, 5 were foolish. Verse 13, watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour. So wait a minute, friends. If we don't know the day nor the hour right now, when the great crisis will occur and the second coming, how often must we watch? I want you to tell me, based on verse 13, how often should we watch? How often should we watch? It says daily and how? Hourly. I'll give you one more. These aren't my words. Mark chapter 13. I'll come back to Matthew. Mark chapter 13. Jesus said in verse number 33, watch and pray. Verse 35, he says, you don't know when the master comes. Evening, midnight, cock crowing in the morning, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. And what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch. And brothers and sisters, why do I say that these are evil men who are saying? The constant watching and talking and preaching about a Sunday law is coming. It leads to paranoia. It makes people insane. It's fanaticism. It's cultish. It's extremism. Listen to what Matthew 24 say. Jesus said now, the faithful and wise servant, he remains watchful and serves his household meat in due season. However, in verse number 48, the evil servants say, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants, saying, eat and drink with me, become drunk. Verse 50, my friends, what will happen when the Lord comes? In an hour, in a day, an hour, when he does not expect him. He was not watching daily. He wasn't watching hourly. That's why every day when we come from midday power search, I want to keep you on your spiritual toes. Friends, please note this. I'm not finished with you yet. In Testimonies for the Church, Volume 2, page 191, the chapter entitled Worldliness in the Church. These paragraphs I could have put on a slide and shared on the screen, but no, I want to read them from the book. Do you know why, friends? I want us to go back to the book and prayerfully read for ourselves. It says, probation closes. Christ's intercession cease in heaven. And what event brings the close of probation? It's Revelation 14, verse 9 and verse 10. The mark of the beast, Sunday, worship by law with persecution for God's commandment-keeping people. Next sentence. This time finally comes suddenly upon all. And those who have neglected to purify their souls by obeying the truth are found sleeping. They became weary of waiting and watching. They became indifferent in regard to the coming of their master. They longed not for his appearing and thought there was no need of such continued, persevering watching. They had been disappointed in their expectations and might be again. So they concluded that there was time enough yet to arouse. They would be sure not to lose the opportunity of securing an earthly treasure. Do you see what happens here? You can tell who are saying, stop talking about, stop watching for a coming Sunday law. They're going back into the world. Let me continue. It would be safe to get all of this world they could. And in securing this object, they lost all anxiety and interest in the appearing of the master. They became indifferent and careless, as though his coming were yet in the distance. But while their interest was buried up in their worldly gains, the work closed in the heavenly sanctuary, and they were unprepared. I'll give you some more. If such had only known that the work of Christ in the heavenly sanctuary would close so soon, how differently would they have conducted themselves? How earnestly would they have watched? Mercy. Friends, what we're studying today is connected to Christ's work in the heavenly sanctuary. We can't see him literally. So how will we know when his work is about to close? Number one, the mark of the beast crisis is the signal. It is about to close. So as we see signs the Sunday law is near, it's showing us his work is about to cease. So what must we do? Watch. Watch how often? Daily? How often? Hourly? All right, listen. The master, hold on, remember, Matthew 26 and verse 41. The flesh is weak to do that, but the Spirit of God is what everybody is willing. All right, the master, anticipating all this, gives them timely warning in the command to watch. God distinctly states the suddenness of his coming. He does not measure the time, lest we shall neglect a momentary preparation, and in our indolence look ahead to that time when we think he will come and defer the preparation. In other words, God does not give us a time of his second coming right now, nor a date for a Sunday law. I've never said COP27 will bring a Sunday law. What I've said is COP27 is another firm, sure, rapid, quick step to lead us to the mark of the beast. watch. All right. Then scriptures are quoted. Listen now. There's more. It says, those not found waiting and watching are finally surprised in their unfaithfulness. The master comes, and instead of their being ready to open unto him, that's Luke 12, verse 34 through verse 38, they are found asleep in slumber and are lost. At last, lost, friends, lost. There's more. A company was presented before me, in contrast to the one described. They were waiting and watching. Their eyes were directed heavenward, and the words of the master were upon their lips. What I say unto you, I say unto all, watch. You can tell who are God's servants then. Every day, the words of Christ are on their lips. What words? Watch. Every day, watch. All right. Then some scriptures are quoted. Listen, the Lord intimates a delay before the morning finally dawns. But he would not have them give way to weariness, nor relax their earnest watchfulness, because the morning does not open upon them as soon as they expected. The waiting ones were represented to me as looking upward. They were encouraging one another by repeating these words. What words? Listen. The first and second watches are past. We are in the third watch, waiting and watching for the master's return. There remains but a little period of watching now. I'm encouraging you, my friends, it's a possibility. We're now in the time of the fourth watch. There's more. I saw some becoming weary. Their eyes were now directed downward, and they were engrossed with earthly things, and were unfaithful in watching. They were saying what? Listen. In the first watch, we expected our master, but we were disappointed. We thought surely he would come in the second watch, but that passed. He came not. We may be again disappointed. As a result, we need not be so particular. He may not come in the following watch. Friends, they continued, we are in the third watch, and now we think it best to lay up our treasure on the earth that we may be secure against want. Let me break it down. You have ministers in the conference of SDA. You have ministers even in so-called self-supporting churches of SDA, not linked to the conference. Administrators in both groups. Professors in both groups. Medical missionaries in both groups. They will say publicly, these few preachers were saying, Sunday law was coming. Let me give you a date. In 1990, it didn't come. They said Sunday law was coming in 2000. Didn't come. Sunday law was coming in 2010. It did not come. Do you see what's happening now? The very same things we just read. They're the ones crying, my Lord delayeth his coming. They are the evil servants, the evil SDA preachers, evil SDA professors, evil SDA administrators, evil SDA medical missionaries. They are the evil SDA evangelists, the evil SDA fathers and husbands. Yes. Young people. Yes. Stop talking about coming Sunday law. Relax your efforts. Get back on the proverbial flat foot. No, I say by God's grace. Let me stop it right here. Remain on your spiritual tippy toes. Did you get the points, friends? how much more of this should I give you? You know, friends, I will leave it right there for you. Read over onto page 194 later on. And by God's grace, you will be blessed as a result. By our watching position, we are to show that we are truly strangers and pilgrims upon this earth. The difference between those who love the world and those who love Christ is so plain as to be unmistakable. Watch, brothers and sisters. Watch. Send in your prayer requests. By God's grace, we will continue these thoughts on tomorrow. For Sabbath school, tomorrow. For the midday message, tomorrow. Even for the evening Bible class. Stay tuned. Gospel vocal brothers will sing the song. The coming King is at the doors, brothers and sisters. The coming King is at the doors. And friends, Luke chapter 12 tells us one day he's going to knock. He's going to knock. And the Bible says in verse 38, and if he shall come in the second watch or third watch, oh friends, be found faithful to open that door. Be found watching. Be found watching. He's coming. He's coming. He's even at the doors. What doors? Several doors. But today, at your heart's door. Will you open and let him in? And he will give you spiritual power to remain watchful, prayerful, and go to work. Evangelism. Hold on there before I close. We're told in volume 2, same book, page 283. Watch, pray, and work. There are 3 watchwords that we must heed if we will not allow Satan to steal a march upon us. Namely, watch, pray, and work. Volume 2, page 283. Watch, pray, work. Aggressive evangelism. Listen.
Thank you for joining us for Midday Passage. We'll be singing hymn titled, The Coming King. We hope you're blessed. The coming King is at the door, who once the cross for sinners bore, but now the righteous ones alone, he comes to gather home. At the door, at the door, at the door, yes, even at the door. He's coming, he's coming, he's even at the door. The signs that show he's coming near are fast fulfilling year by year, and soon we'll have the glorious dawn of heaven's eternal morn. At the door, at the door, at the door, yes, even at the door. He's coming, he's coming, he's even at the door. Then in that glorious earth made new, will dwell the countless ages throne. This mortal shall immortal be, and time eternity. At the door, at the door, at the door, yes, even at the door. He's coming, he's coming.